Hi, and welcome to the channel. My name is Drew, and this is Just a Guy at Linux. And more than a year ago, I did this video. Now, the goal of the video was to write a bash script that installed 5 different window managers and use my configuration files for all 5, basically making them customized. And in the last year, it has gotten more than 100 stars on GitHub. But the fact of the matter is, I have always wanted to improve that script, and that is what I have been doing for the last couple of weeks. So let me explain what I have done. And one of the things I definitely wanted to do was to incorporate other window managers. So I went from 5 to 9. I have included Awesome WM, as well as 3 stacking window managers: Fluxbox, IceWM, and OpenBox. Now, along with all of these, I wanted to look at every single configuration file, not just write the script, but try to improve the configuration files on all of them, because I wanted them to be as consistent across the board as possible, which means I wanted them to have almost exactly the same key bindings for all of them. So for example, in order to close the window manager and get back to the login screen, you're going to use the keybind Super Shift Q. Okay, and that works for everything actually except IceWM. Okay, I didn't really incorporate any key bindings into IceWM. Fluxbox, OpenBox, and all other 6 tilers I did. One of the things I majorly appreciated about Awesome WM is that if you use the Super S key, I believe. Now I changed it in my version. It's going to be Super H, but Super S out of the box is basically a help system. And it shows you what the key bindings are for your version of Awesome WM. So if you make changes in the configuration file, it represents those changes in that help menu. Now, I couldn't do that, but what I could do was write a script, a bash script, that is attached to a keybind. So not only did I change that Awesome WM keybind to be Super H, all the rest of these also have a keybind Super H. So I'm going to hit Super H right now. And this is a simple text script and a bash, it's a text file rather, and a bash script that reads the file. So all you would need to do if you did make a change would be to go into that text file, make the change, and then your help system would be up to date. Now again, I've done that for all of these. So if you are looking at DK Window Manager, Fluxbox, or any of these, and you use the Super H key, it will show the key bindings for that particular window manager. Another thing that I definitely wanted to do was to change the version of PyCom. So there is a script that installs this FT Labs version of PyCom, which is incredibly cool as far as animations are concerned. Now, I'm not going to show that off right this second, because actually BSPWM is fine for the animations, but there are definitely better ones, like actually DK Window Manager is very, very good. But the DWM and the Awesome WM window managers with this, using this PyCom is really, really smooth. And I'll show you that later, okay? Thank you in advance to anyone that looks at this section. This will be time-stamped, and this is going to be about what the code looks like and what the intention of it is. So the install script basically looks to see if you have Git installed, and if you don't have it, then it installs it. It then goes and gets my bookworm scripts on GitHub and then my dot files at GitHub. And then it goes into this setup file, okay? So what does the setup file do? The setup file asks you questions. It will ask you for each window manager, do you want to install a vanilla, basically no customization, or do you want to install the custom window manager using my configuration files. Now you can skip as well. I mean, you don't have to install 9 different window managers. You can just say skip, 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 and get to the one you want. Like for example, there will be a few of you that's like, oh yeah, I just want the DWM one, and that is fine. Okay, that's totally fine. And then basically what it does is it installs that window manager, whether it be vanilla or custom, or if you want to install 5, I don't care, you can do that as well. But what I wanted to do was to collect all of those choices before you start the installation process. So basically it's collecting everything. So if, like I said, if you can choose 4 or 5 or 1 or whatever version you want, it's going to collect that, and then after you've made those selections, it will then start the installation process. So let me look at the vanilla BSPWM one. What it's looking for is this base packages, and then these files are going to be installed also, okay? So I wanted something that was the base for all of the vanilla versions of these window managers. So where's base? I can't find, there it is, base. And so it's very, and now Git's already been installed, but there's only a few things that get installed plus these packages. So for BSPWM, you're only going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 8 more packages on top of that. So it's going to be incredibly light, and then you can decide what you want to do from that point. Now, I will say on the BSPWM, there's a reason why I'm picking this RXV Unicode, and that is because out of the box, that is what BSPWM is looking for in terms of a terminal, okay? Now, obviously, I don't need it for the custom build because my key bindings are looking for Tilix, which is my preferred terminal emulator. But on top of that, it's going to look for this common packages. I should probably have renamed this, but there was base packages and common packages. And I don't know, for whatever reason, I'm using this for all of the custom window managers. So it's incorporating all of the ones that were there, plus network, Thunar as a file manager, LX appearance, and so on, including sound and EXA. You get the idea. And it's installing my version, well, not my version, but basically the plugins that I use for Genie, because I'm going to use this. I want my Genie and its plugins to be installed as well. So if you choose to, you can always edit this and put some different stuff in. But for my part, this is kind of like the bare minimum that I would want in my installation. Now, installing BSPWM, because it's already in the Debian packages, is not that challenging. I'll be honest with you, but there are definitely window managers on this list that end up being a little bit more challenging simply because you need to use Git, or with Qtile, you have to set a virtual environment, and that's not straightforward. And, you know, DWM is not perfectly straightforward, but it's not hard either, okay? But it is automated in this particular, you know, in these scripts, it automates the processes, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I'm gonna go back over to this install. And the next thing down after this setup is packages. And where is packages? Here, okay? And what it's doing is it's saying, okay, now we've installed all this stuff. Here's some other things that you may want to install. Now, this is not an all-inclusive list. This is just a list I thought, hey, you know, these are common, and I'm probably missing a bunch. But if you want to install Kate or gedit or any of these other things, including Kdenlive or OBS, or you can do that just by selecting which number it is on the screen. You'll see this later, but this is something that I thought was just kind of a nice little add-in. Now with LightDM, what it is doing is it is checking to see if you have LightDM, SDDM, GDM, LXDM, basically any display or login manager, and it checks to see if it's already installed. And if it is already installed, it doesn't do anything. It just says, okay, thanks, moving on. Also, by the way, there's Lie Console Manager that is a part of this check. It's just not right here. It's not listed right here, and I've already made that change. But then if it senses that you have not have anything installed, it will ask you, hey, which one do you want to install? So I'm recommending LightDM. I think it's really, really easy and lightweight. I am offering the minimal install of GDM3 as well as the minimal install of SDDM, and then also the LXDM. I chose not to use Lie Console, even though I have used it in the past quite a bit. I just thought this was a little easier. So, going back, I like my bash script, which is why I am offering it in case somebody wants to use the bash script. So let me just show you what it looks like. Basically, it has a bunch of aliases, and it has, you can see right here. I mean, I don't have fast fetch installed, and I don't have tree installed or anything like that, so I can't really show any of that stuff. But you will see that it has colors, and if you want, it provides you with a decent experience. Okay, so let me close this. ls. So if you do, I mean, obviously EXA is going to be installed by default on these custom window managers. So if you choose to, you can have an ls that looks like this in command line. Let's close this. And there's only two more things. One is if you want to install printer support, it asks if you do. And if you want Bluetooth support, it will ask yes or no as well. Now, I want to go ahead and show you what each of the custom window managers looks like. Okay, that way you can say, oh yeah, I kind of want that. I mean, a lot of it has to do with what I picked as far as wallpaper and stuff like that, but there are some nice features for all of these. So this is obviously BSPWM, and I'm going to use Super Shift Q to quit, and then let's just go from top to bottom. So Fluxbox. This will be the custom version of Fluxbox. You can see I'm going to use the Super H, and then you'll see what the actual Fluxbox key bindings are. Again, it's a very good stacking window manager, and I have used, actually, you know what? That's a mistake right there. I'll fix that and as soon as I'm done recording. But basically, it's not Rofi, is it? This is the XFCE4 App Finder, and I'm using XFCE4 App Finder on all of the stacking window managers, and then I'm using Rofi on all of the tiling window managers. So this will be a mistake, and this will be fixed in 2 seconds, basically. It's going to escape, and if you want, you could obviously move things around. If you want to super shift, let's say 5, it will move it over to the 5th workspace, and you can do that by just saying super 5 also. And if you would like to, you can close by using Super Q. That is common throughout all the window managers. Super Q is to close the application. And like I said before, Super Shift Q is to quit out of the application, or the window manager rather, and go to another one. So let's go to IceWM. Now again, with IceWM, I haven't done a whole lot in terms of key bindings or anything like that. It's very mouse driven. So if you don't like key bindings and you want to use one of these, this might be a good choice for you. So I actually am not going to demonstrate hardly anything about this, and just say okay. And let's move on to OpenBox. Now, I like OpenBox. If I was going to use a stacking window manager, this probably would be it. And I'm going to just go with a super enter just to open super H, and it will open up the help. Same thing here. You can move windows to specific tags or workspaces. If you want to, it says right there on the screen, it says super up lets you make something 75%. If you want to super left or super right, you can move things around the screen, kind of nice. Super down, it gives you a smaller window, and you can also just kind of drag things over and then select it if you wanted to. It's a very good window manager. And by the way, if I click on here, it's going to show the app finder as well. Super Q again to quit, and then super Shift Q to exit, and then you're going to have to say, yes, exit, please. Let's take a look at Qtile. Make sure it's open there. Yep. And I used some weird colors. I just thought this was kind of funky looking. Whatever. You know, if you don't like this one, I apologize. It's just kind of different for me. So anyway, I'm going to use super H and then super space to show that Rofi is installed. Let me close that. And then let's say, I don't know, let's use Thunar and want to like move things around. You're welcome to do that. Let me go to workspace 3 and show that. So you get the idea. And let's move on. And let's go to Awesome WM. And Super H is actually the one that is automated. So if you are using Awesome WM, I set the key binding so that it was consistent through all the window managers. But this is actually generated by the configuration script itself. So it's pretty darn good. Let me go ahead and open up a couple things, and then you can, like I said, you can move things around really easily. This is one of those where the PyCom version of PyCom really matters because it looks fantastic when you start moving things around, you know? Pretty darn cool. All right, Super Shift Q to exit, and let's go to, well, we already looked at BSPWM. Let's look at DK Window Manager. Okay, it looks very similar to BSPWM in that the polybar is the same for the most part. Super H, and you're going to see what the key bindings are. Let's open up this and another thing, and you can super tab, and you're rotating the stack around. Pretty cool. And let's go Super Shift Q. And you know what I should have done was shown how you can resize windows, but yeah, I'll do that right now actually. So I'm using 12 workspaces for DWM. I kind of like having 12. Super H to show the help. And you can see that super minus and super equal are the two, or 11 and 12. And then I have these layouts for DWM. So this is basically kind of like the flagship, if you will. I don't know if that's the right word, but I'm using the dwindle layout. But most people, I don't say most people, but there are, the default layout is tile. So if you want, you can try it. It's just, you can do it by using Control Shift 4. Go ahead and show you that. So you can see up here that that it has changed. So I'm going to go back to 1, and then Super Shift Enter, and that's a different terminal. But here's the scratch pad. I want to show it. So Super V, okay, and that's Pulse Mixer. But if I hit Super V again, it doesn't actually like close, it goes away so that you can see it. This is a scratch pad. That's the intent of it, right? So I'm going to go ahead and close that now. And what else? Oh, can just use the control key. So super control, then left and right, and you can change the size of each window. All right, super shift Q to quit. And one more. Let's go to I3. And it's going to show a very simple I3, and the one that has hidden or vacant tags. So if if you have tags and you want to move them, let's just say to 6, it will only show the 2 tags that are there that are being used, which is sometimes kind of nice. I know that there's a lot of people that like not showing vacant tags. Did I say that correctly? I don't even know. But to give you an opportunity to see the help, there it is. And when you use super shift Q, it just quits out of I3 and you're back to the login. Now I'm going to go back to DWM because that is clearly my favorite right now. And I will say that I have installed all of these window managers by way of this script. But what I want to do is show you what the script looks like. In order to do that, I probably will, and in fact, that's exactly what I'm going to do, especially because today was the release of Debian 12.6, and I want to run through that installation. But actually, you know what we're going to do? Let's open and just say sudo reboot. And I'm going to get to that screen just so you can see that I am going to wipe the machine. And hurry up. Oop, I'm hitting the wrong button. Oh, good. All right, I got it. Okay, so basically what I'm going to do is wipe this machine, and then I will download the installation script, and we're going to rock from there. But until I get to that point, let me go ahead and pause. Okay, a quick interruption while I'm doing this. I just wanted to show that I am basically deselecting everything except the standard utilities when I do this. Okay, that's all I really wanted to interject right there. Okay, I have reboot and have logged in, and I'm ready to get started. So I'm going to wget https and then go to my GitHub. And it's at bookworm scripts, and we're going to into the raw, and then main, and then install.sh is the only file that you actually need, so I'm going to get that. And I'm going to chmod +x to make this executable, and install.sh. All right, cool. Now let's just clear the screen and go down a couple lines, and then we're going to run install.sh. Now, as far as the command, the wget, if I went too fast, sorry, it's actually on my README file for this bookworm scripts. The link will be in the description below, as well as probably the commands that, or the command, I should say, that is necessary to get this started. So, I need to authenticate. Okay. And it's because it says Git is not installed, because nothing's installed for that matter. And so it's installing Git for you. And now what it's doing is it cloned my bookworm scripts at GitHub, and it is now cloning my dot files from GitHub. Okay. Question and answer time. So you have a choice to install Awesome with no customization, or my customization, or you can just skip it, okay? And so I think what I'm gonna do is pick a couple, let's say 2 or 3 or 4 maybe at the most, and just install no customization, and then go back and run the script again and install it with customization. So in this case, I am going to say no customization. No customization. I'm going to skip DK. I'll actually skip DWM. I'll go ahead and say no customization. Yeah, I'm going to install Fluxbox with no customization. Sorry. And now i3 with no customization, skip IceWM, skip OpenBox, and skip Qtile. And so that should be enough for now. And I definitely will go back and reinstall a couple, 3 or 4 with fully customized. But I don't think this will take particularly long. So the only thing that actually takes a little bit of time is to run the build essential package, but everything else is pretty standard. Okay. Although I think I will go ahead and pause the video. Okay, fast forward. I think it took about 1.5 minutes or so. I didn't actually look at my watch, but this is the second part of the installation. It's going to ask you questions. Do you want to install some of these other packages? And you have a choice to do so. Now, I will say this. I kind of messed up in that I will add this later because Thunar should be on this list, and it's definitely my go-to file manager, and I'm not sure I actually installed it in the vanilla packages. So this will be changed before you see this video. But if you have run a custom, Thunar is definitely going to be there with a bunch of other stuff. So anyway, I am going to skip this. And here is a second choice. You can use any of these graphic or install. And how do you do that? You just say, okay, I'm going to install QIMGV, which is one that I really like. I'm going to say, okay. And if I want to install more than just this, I can simply use the number, and I am going to install LeafPad 4, and I could go ahead and just say 1 plus, let's say 1 and then 8, like that. Just so you can see, it's space separated, okay? And I'm just going to skip this, and so it's going to install those packages. So I won't pause. This should only take 1 minute, hopefully less. Okay, maybe I should have paused. We're good. Okay, now the next thing what's going to happen is it's going to ask you what it is essentially doing is it's looking to see if a display manager is installed, like LightDM, okay? And I'm going to use LightDM because that's what I am recommending, but I also gave you an opportunity to install GDM3 minimal install, as well as SDDM minimal install, or LXDM, okay? And like I said, I'm just going to pick one and enter, and it's going to install LightDM for me. So as soon as this gets done, it's going to ask us the second to the last question, and that is, oh no, sorry, third to last question. So I like my bash RC, and if you are looking for one that you might like as well, you're welcome to use my bash RC. I am going to say yes here because I do want to. And so it copied it immediately. Also, if you have the need to print, this is going to install cups as well as a couple other things, including a simple scan. I'm going to say no for now. And I don't, even though this machine does have Bluetooth, I am going to just say no for now as well. This will install both Blues and something else, and I can't remember what that is, but nope. Anyway, so we've gotten through everything, and so it is time to reboot. Okay. So I'm not going to pause the video. I'm just going to roll with whatever happens next. So I am going to hopefully be greeted by the light DM with 4 window managers. I think that was right. So Fluxbox, Awesome, BSPWM, and i3. Okay, so I only picked 4. And let's start with Fluxbox. Now again, remember, these are going to be vanilla, no customization at all. And that is what Fluxbox looks at like uncustomized. Okay, so I am just going to exit. And I'm going to go down to Awesome. Again, uncustomized. This is the way it looks out of the box. And you do have an opportunity. There is a right-click menu here. Oh, by the way, let me just show you. Super S, I believe, here. Super S? Yeah. I changed it to Super H so that you could see what my customizations were. But here you go. Right out of the box, Awesome WM has a helper, which is very, very cool. So I am going to right-click and quit. So what else do we got? We have BSPWM, and I think it's just going to be a blank screen here, okay? Yeah, that's it. That's the extent of that customization. Now, there are key bindings that you may want to know, and I think it's Alt is a modifier here. So let me go Alt, Shift, Enter. Actually, no, Alt, P, I believe. Nope. Alt, space. Nope. Alt, Shift, P. Got nothing. Okay, Alt, Shift, Enter. Sorry, I am completely confused because I'm thinking DK Window Manager and I'm in BSPWM. Sorry. So in order to get the menu for BSPWM, you're going to say super space. And there is the D menu that you can run. You can just say something like simple like Firefox and enter, and then you've got Firefox. Okay. Also, if you want to watch your eyes here, because this is RxVT Unicode. Like I said, I had to install that because out of the box, that's what BSPWM is looking for. When I hit Super Enter, and it's got this incredibly blinding white screen, Super W, Super W to close, okay? And what else? Super Shift Q. No, it's Alt, Super, and Q to quit. Sorry. All right, let's move on. And i3. Now it's going to ask you questions, and I've already actually gotten through the questions on this one. I had to do something away from the video. So it's going to ask you 2 questions. It's going to ask you whether you want the i3 configuration to be built in the .config i3 directory, and you should say yes there, okay? And then it's going to also ask you whether you want the modifier key to be the window key or the alt key, and I've chosen the window key here. Sorry. So in order to get the menu, you're going to say Super D, and same thing, you're able to get to Firefox or what have you, okay? Super Enter will give you, in this case, Terminator, okay? And it's Super Shift Q to quit the window, all right? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the script again. So actually, let's do it right here in i3. And I'm going to make this larger so that you guys can see a bit. Profiles. And I think that's all I need. Yeah, that should be good, right? Hopefully you guys can see that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to run install again, okay? Now, yes, I want to install the customized Awesome WM, Okay. Now, I installed BSPWM, no customization. So now I want to install it customized, and it's going to basically overwrite. I'll skip DK Window Manager. Yes, I definitely want my beloved DWM customized. I did install Fluxbox with no customization. So let's see what that looks like this time around. And let's go ahead and do the customized i3. I'll skip IceWM. I'll take OpenBox, and you know what? I'll do Qtile only because I know that it's challenging for some, and I'm going to go ahead and just automate that process. Okay. I got to re-authenticate. Okay. Now this will take a little bit of time, so I will pause. Now I've gotten to a stop again, but I did want to mention something. I messed up. I don't know if any of you guys caught that on the last segment. I said that I was going to install the customized Fluxbox, and I hit a number 1 instead of a number 2. I don't know if you guys noticed that or not. I just rewatched that segment and I messed up. So I am going to go back and fix that. Actually, I can do that right now, can't I? I'm just going to stop this and let's rerun that install again. Okay. And so I'm going to skip and skip and skip, and I'm going to say 2 here. And then I'm going to skip the rest because I wanted to be, I wanted to be fair about this. If I had messed up something, I wanted to be, I wanted to be truthful about it. I did. I messed this up. So now we're back to where we were just a second ago. Again, if you want to install another file manager, it's up to you. I am going to skip. I think Flameshot is already installed, but let me just say, let me do that. Actually, you know what? I'm going to install GIMP and Flameshot, and Scrot's definitely already installed, and I'm going to, that's enough. Okay. There's plenty of, in fact, I know Kitty's already installed as well, so I will skip. Genie is definitely installed already, so I'm going to say Mousepad just to have an extra one. Okay. And then MPV, I think did I install that already or not? I'm not sure. I think I did actually, but I'm going to go ahead and just hit it, and it's because it doesn't do any harm to add it more than one time. And I'll install NeoFetch here because it's there. And that's cool. Now, when it gets to this next point here, hopefully it'll be pretty quick. I'm already using the bash RC, so I can just say no. Now notice it skipped looking for the display manager. I've already got LightDM installed, so there was no reason for it to stop and say, do you want to install it? It basically skipped that whole thing. So now I'm just going to say no and no. And I don't know that I need to reboot. In fact, let's see. Okay, I am just going to see, I'm i3, so it's a Super Shift E. Yep, there we go. And I am going to exit. Okay. Just curious if I even need to reboot. So Fluxbox was the one that we redid. So let's go to the top and see what we got. Yep, there you go. There's the new Fluxbox. I don't know if you remember what it did look like. And it works fantastic. I am going to just go ahead and exit because I know that this video is getting longer and longer. OpenBox, same thing. Yep. Super H, and there's the keybinds. Now, I always kind of get my terminal. This is Tilix. This is my favorite terminal, and I would change this a bit. I don't know if that's something for another video, and probably is actually. So I am going to exit here. Super Shift Q, by the way, would have worked as well. And let's go down to Qtile. Okay, yeah, Super H. And We can switch things around just like we're supposed to. It's Super Shift Q again. Awesome WM. This is new as well. There you go. Super H is going to just show you the one that's already built in. And then let's get a couple terminals. Let's go ahead and open up Thunar. There you have Thunar. Super F, by the way. And Super Shift Q again. BSPWM. You saw the vanilla BSPWM, and now this one is going to be with Polybar. And there's the terminal. I should change this just so you can see the stuff a little bit better. Edit profile. Sorry, I will only take but a second to do this, but let's do that. I want the tab bottom. Click, and then what else? I want no scrolling. I want to have a little bit of there, and I want sauce, regular, and let's bump it up to about 18. Select, okay, and let's close. So there you go. I just wanted you to be able to see what the actual key bindings were. Okay. Okay, Super Shift Q again. And I am going to skip DWM. Did I actually install i3? Yeah, I think I did. While it was actually running, I installed the customization of i3, and there it is. And let's go over there. Yep. Okay, and Super Shift Q again. And we're going to end up on DWM. So guys, this is the end of the video. I hope that you like what I've done in this video. It took, like I said, it's taken me some time, but at the same time, I really enjoyed learning how to use Bash more effectively and to get a little bit more, I don't know, streamline when you're talking about installing these window managers. I have removed the sway into its own repo at my GitHub, but I really like keeping them separate. So anyway, I hope that you've enjoyed this. If you have watched up until now, I am very appreciative, okay? And I will see you all very soon.